everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another reaction video. Today I'm going to be watching, reviewing, and reacting to Season 1, Episode 2 of His Dark Materials. And Binks is here with me at the moment. He just wants some cuddles and attention. And I just finished filming the first episode, so he's like, You've been ignoring me for long enough. So he's here for cuddles for a little bit. We'll see how long it lasts. Oh, maybe not very long at all. But anyway, so as I was saying, bye Binks. Oh my. So as I was saying, I actually just watched, filmed and discussed my reaction to the first episode of His Dark Materials, and I'm jumping right into the second because I'm trying to get a little bit more caught up. The show actually premiered a couple of weeks ago, so I'm trying to do some double featuring when possible, and doing this with some other new series as well. So I'm not really going to do a recap. Instead, I'm just going to jump right into it and see what episode 2 has to offer us. So here we go.
Right, let me show you around. This is the living room.
So
The terrace. Now, up here is my bedroom. And that's my study, which I'd rather stayed my private space. And then here is the room I prepared for you. I'll let you get settled.
She's like, certainly much more feminine than anything that Lyra's used to being exposed to.
It is a lot more comfortable than Oxford. And it's our new home.
I want to cuddle with Pan.
Roger's too. When she finds him. Home for us all. Billy? Roger! Billy Costa!
Especially considering what I've heard of Azrael's visit to this college. Is it true he spoke of dust, and that you're funding his investigations?
Whatever you're threatening,
That's so epic.
I threaten nothing.
I want a demon.
What do you hide? The only rights the Magisterium has here are the rights I granted. His skull is in our crypt. It will stay there, as is his right and our responsibility. Of course. Master.
The moment she's like, what the hell? How?
I thought I heard you. What are you doing out of bed?
She's like, suddenly you appear
It's
far
very
more
late.
sinister to me.
Mrs. Coulter, how are you able to be so far away from your demon? It's too painful.
I'm not.
It's not natural. He was in the study. You were down the hallway.
You're mistaken. He was with me the
She
entire
just so
time.
very easily lies.
Oh, Lyra.
No panic, just... Here's where it's been cut. That's interesting. I was wondering how they'd show it. It looks like spider webs almost. Or like a clear veil, you know?
Your work has brought it to a head.
Well, if the Cardinal has something to say, I prefer he did so in person.
Well, he sent me. to warn you that if your activities draw too much attention, then the Magisterium will not protect you.
Should you be outside this door? And who are you? Exactly.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Lyra, run along. The grown-ups are talking.
I don't mind.
Lyra! It looks absurd to be carrying a shoulder bag in your own home.
It's the only thing I really like wearing.
In this vulgar and coarse way, then we will have a confrontation, which I will win.
This isn't who you are! It was meant just to upset you!
Whenever any guests arrive in the future, they are going to find you perfectly sweet, charming, innocent, delightful, just as children should be. Do you understand?
You can't treat me like this! My uncle won't let you!
When has that man ever done anything for you?
He's done everything!
He's done nothing! He's a failure of a man and a failure of father!
It's like if it wasn't bad enough, you tell her like this.
Father. He's my father. It's me.
I never understood why he kept up the ridiculous pretense.
My parents died in an airship accident. It was all a lie.
I do love how they have the demons just
He's a liar.
embodying their feelings with their body language and everything, you know?
My mother. Who is she?
Could have been anyone.
Could have been, but
He was never in one place for long, and he always had a woman on his arm. It was Azrael that took you to that college during the Great Flood. He thought they would protect you. Another ridiculous idea. To protect a painting if it was drawn on the walls. No. Lyra.
I mean, maybe you shouldn't have abused her.
Our origins don't define us. It's what we do with what we have.
Please leave me alone.
It's like, what did you expect?
I need help. Tell me what she is.
I'm trying to help. I can wait.
I need to find this man.
A man with an osprey for a demon. It's not exactly discreet. I think someone would have seen him if he was hanging around
I
here.
wonder how much of this they're gonna get into this season.
He's been investigating multiple worlds for some time. I believe he's here.
So he's done what you've done. He's He's crossed into our world. Did he use the same window?
Tell me what you know.
I think it's a good strategy, actually. Best way to stay safe from the gobblers. Move in with one of them.
Dun dun dun.
That's what they call it, isn't it? The initials you see, General Ablation Board.
Gobbler.
She's involved in the...
She is the Ablation Board. It's entirely her own project. You didn't know? Who's that with Lyra?
She's a journalist.
We need to get her out of here.
I got to go.
Lyra, Lyra. Papers, letters, anything could be hugely useful.
You have for such indelicate matters. If you know who Mrs. Coulter is, then you know who I am. Correct?
Please don't hurt me.
Beautiful. Quite beautiful.
Girls to the left, boys to the right. Girls to the left.
We haven't been followed.
How do you know we haven't been followed?
We need to get off the streets. Find a place to settle for the night.
We need to find Roger.
What use is there looking in the dark?
Are you ready?
Let's go.
We'll try to keep warm. And then we'll...
Find Roger. Find Roger.
The lure.
No! No! Where are you going?
Yeah, I knew that was where it was gonna end. Alrighty. Well, that was episode 2. So, I'd say, as I had predicted, definitely much more happening this episode, but still fairly slow. Still, they're doing a lot of build-up here, especially with all the various characters and their relationships that they're kind of having to intro us to. And I think it makes sense. It's kind of the same way in the books, because if you're getting things, if you're learning things through Lyra's eyes, as Lyra is learning things, and she's, you know, this young girl without a lot of experience in the world, it's gonna be kind of like that, you know? And I think they're doing a good job of demonstrating that and showing that feeling. So this episode, I really think, really belonged to Ruth Wilson and solidifies my belief that she was a great choice to be cast as Mrs. Coulter. I think she did an exceptional job this episode. I mean, you could see the different emotional changes in the little like motions of her face, or you could see it behind her eyes. I just think she's a really fantastic actress, and she has the perfect look kind of and feel for Mrs. Coulter. So I'm really enjoying seeing what she's doing so far, and very much looking forward to seeing more. So just a couple of things I thought was interesting. It's not exactly following the books, but it's quite similar. And one thing in particular that stood out to me is that, and it's hard to talk about this because I don't want to give anything away to people who haven't read the book, so I'm trying to be as vague as possible, I guess. But there's certain aspects of the storyline, say, involving going into different kind of world dimension, what Azrael is talking about, finding and searching for, that you actively see happening here, and more discussion in that other dimension. Just to say, this is something that really is highlighted in book 2 of the series. So it's interesting to me the way that they're bringing it forward more here. And I'm excited about that, to see how they're planning to kind of intro that, because we do know some of those characters in the books, in book 2, were experiencing things at the same time as Lyra is experiencing the things that are the focus of book 1. So I'm curious to see how they're going to integrate that, and that's exciting to me. So that's one thing I wanted to mention, again, without getting too much into it. And then the second thing is that I'm greatly appreciating that they are not even remotely shying away from the religious aspect, the critique of religion and institutions aspect that comes along with the storyline. Not at all. They're going all in on it, and I'm excited very much so to see. I think they're doing a great job with it, and again, just looking forward to seeing how they bring this together in the series moving forward. Again, there's not a ton of stuff to say at this point in time because it is really just a lot of build-up. So then the other thing really just is, again, it's things that probably were shocking for a lot of people, like, oh, Azrael is your father, dun dun dun. Oh, Mrs. Coulter is the Gobblers, or the General Oblation Board. These are pretty big moments for people, but they were things that I knew and saw coming. But I do think that they did a good job with their introductions of things. And I'm really just loving the way that they're doing the demons and portraying them. I think they're doing a great job of, as I mentioned during the reaction, of kind of having the demon's actual body language parallel the body language and the facial expressions and feelings of the person they're attached to. Yeah, so I'm thoroughly enjoying that so far. I think that overall I'm pretty happy with this adaptation at this point in time, but it's quite early, so you guys let me know what you think. What are your thoughts? If you've read the books before, do you feel like you're enjoying the adaptation? You're happy with what they've done in the first couple episodes? If you haven't read the books and you're just watching the show for the first time, what are your thoughts? Are you entertained so far? Were you surprised by some of these things that happened? I'm curious to hear kind of like an outlook from somebody who wasn't familiar with the story and didn't know what was going to happen, if that makes sense. Alright, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. So again, if you have thoughts, let me know. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below as well. Thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you next time for episode 3. Bye!